What is the best first car to buy? A question that has no right answer because there's so many different variables. In fact, there are some channels dedicated entirely to answering this question. There's front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, sedans, coupes, hatches, German, Japanese, American, sport, luxury, so many different variables. Not only are there all these different categories to choose from, but there's also a wide price range. I'd recommend an entirely different car to you if you had $30,000 to spend than if you had 10. Then you've got your intentions. What do you intend to use the car for? Are you looking to go back and forth to school? Do you need space to haul stuff? Are you looking for performance? Do you care about safety rating? Do you care about reliability or just performance? So as you can see, it's an impossible question to answer. There's just too many variables involved. So we can end the video right there. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, obviously not. In this video, I'm gonna show you my top 5 picks for the best first car. Now, take this with a grain of salt because, again, there's so many variables and so many different people out there looking for different things. These are simply the 5 best options that I feel like are the best first cars for most people. That's right, you know we can't make a best first car video without the mention of the almighty Miata. Miata is always the answer. The Miata is a fun, lightweight little convertible that's good for learning driver skill and car control. You don't even need to modify a Miata to have tons of fun carving some mountain roads. But of course you can modify Miatas, and the sky is the limit. Don't get trapped into the fallacy that Miatas need forced induction to be fun. Ben had a supercharged Miata once, and it honestly didn't matter that it was boosted. Miatas are definitely not about horsepower or going fast. They're about having fun. However, if you're considering a Miata, you should also know that they're not very practical. They're very small cars with nearly no cargo space. They're also not high-speed cars. Even 30 minutes on the highway can get pretty tiring in these shortly geared cars. They're definitely more of a backroad cruising car. If you don't need a car to haul stuff around with on the highway, then this is a good option. Okay, I may be a little biased with this one since I've owned probably 10 Subarus in my past. These cars are a fantastic bang for the buck. All-wheel drive, 4 doors, very practical, and quite powerful for the cost. There's a good reason that Subarus are so popular. You can get a turbocharged all-wheel drive car making about 250 horsepower for just a couple grand. That's amazing. Of course, the better condition ones will cost more. They're not known for being super reliable, so take that into consideration. The common issue with non-turbo Subarus are the head gaskets, but once those have been changed out, you're good to go. The common issue with turbo Subarus are the ringlands, but if you don't modify the car or make tons of power, you likely won't have an issue. And who's to say that an unreliable car isn't a good first car? My first car was very unreliable, and it taught me a lot of good information about cars. I wouldn't know half as much as I know now if it weren't for my first car breaking down every month. We normally favor JDM cars over Euro cars, but the GTI is an outstanding example. They've been making the Golf since the 70s, so there's tons of different generations to choose from. A Mark V or a Mark VI is probably in the right price range for your first car. These little GTIs pack a great punch and react really well to tuning. You can get a lot of power out of these cars with very little mods. They're also quite comfortable and practical with space in the hatch. It checks all the boxes for a perfect little first car. The only downside would be that the parts are going to be a little bit more expensive than your typical JDM car. The Toyota Corolla isn't really a picturesque enthusiast car, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good first car. If you're looking for something super reliable and super fuel efficient, this is the car for you. And don't think that its very reasonable specs and 5-star safety rating means that it's not a fun car to drive. These new Corolla hatches have double wishbone suspension all around and come with a 6-speed manual transmission. You can also modify these to look awesome. I'm a big fan of the new Corolla. It will definitely be the easiest car owning experience you've ever had. But maybe that's a downside for the Corolla. Maybe you want a car that's a little bit more engaging. The Honda Civic. Not only was this my top pick, but I put a lengthy championship-style poll out on our Instagram to ask all of our followers what you think is the best first car, and the 92 to 2000 Honda Civic won with an overwhelming majority vote. I'm obviously biased since I own a 97 Honda Civic, but that doesn't mean that it's not a great first car. The 92 to 2000 Honda Civic has been one of the most popular cars available for young enthusiasts for quite some time. It's a very fun little car, very affordable and easy to find. You can get parts easily at your local Advance Auto Parts, and if you take care of them, they'll last forever. There's a huge aftermarket community for them with tons of resources. So much so that companies make insanely specific parts for these cars because they're so popular. K-Tuned makes specific K24 swap parts for an EK chassis with Integra subframe and RSX full-size radiators. If they make parts that specific, you know you can find just about anything you need for these cars. There's endless possibilities for engine swaps, but even the factory slow D-Series motor can be quite fun, because Hondas aren't about making a bunch of power, but having fun while driving. And unlike the Miata, they're insanely practical with tons of interior space. And the factory D-Series engine can get upwards of 50 miles per gallon. Honestly, the only downside to a Civic is that they're theft magnets. Because they're so good, everyone wants one. So, there you have it. There are my top 5 recommendations for some of the best first cars to buy. Now, again, take that with a grain of salt because there's so many variables, it's impossible for me to tell you exactly what your best first car option is. But if anything, this video can help you get started with that. Now, obviously, there's a lot more than just these 5 cars that are good options for some first cars. So, I'm gonna list some more options out for you here. Also, keep in mind that you're buying into the culture of your first car as well. So if you buy a Subaru, you're gonna be hanging out with a bunch of Subaru people. So, something to keep in mind. Either way, hope this video was helpful for you and got you started on your research for your first car, or maybe it helped reaffirm a purchase that you've already made. Either way, hope you enjoyed watching it, and we'll see you in the next video.